Ladies and gentlemen, coin collectors, history lovers, and everyday Aussies rummaging through your change, stop right there. What if that humble 50-cent piece, jingling in your pocket or buried in your old jar, isn't just 50 cents, but could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? Yes, you heard that right. We're counting down the top 10 most valuable Australian 50-cent coins, that have shattered auction records, from groundbreaking designs to ultra-rare errors that turn ordinary change into life-changing fortunes. Starting with a jaw-dropping $280,000 for the legendary 1969, all the way through hidden gems from the 70s, 80s, 90s and beyond. These aren't myths. They're real treasures with fascinating histories, minting stories and skyrocketing market values. Stick with me for the next few minutes as we reveal each one in detail. You might just have a winner in your collection right now. Let's dive in with number 1. The 1969 Australian 50-cent coin. Let us begin by stepping back to the vibrant era of the late 1960s, a time when Australia was still adjusting to its bold new decimal currency system, introduced on February 14, 1966, what we affectionately call C-Day. The transition from pounds, shillings, and pence to dollars and cents was a monumental shift, designed to simplify commerce and align with global standards. Among the new coins was the original 50-cent piece, a round beauty struck in 80% silver with a stunning Commonwealth coat of arms reverse designed by the legendary Stuart Devlin. Minted only in 1966 with over 36 million pieces, it was a public favorite, large, shiny and prestigious. But fate had other plans. As global silver prices skyrocketed in the late 1960s, the intrinsic metal value of these coins soon exceeded their face value of 50 cents. People began hoarding them, melting them down illegally for profit, and they vanished from circulation almost as quickly as they appeared. By 1968, production of the silver round 50 cent was halted entirely, leaving a void in everyday transactions and sparking confusion, especially with the similar-sized 20-cent coin. Enter the year 1969, a pivotal moment in Australian coinage history. The Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, under pressure to resolve these issues, unveiled a revolutionary redesign. The new 50-cent coin was no longer round but dodecagonal, 12-sided for easy distinction by touch and sight, reducing mix-ups with the 20-cent piece. Composed of a durable copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 50% nickel, it was cost-effective, resistant to wear, and ready for heavy circulation. This was the first major shape change in the decimal series, marking a practical evolution that has endured to this day. The obverse featured the elegant second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machine, a diademed bust that exuded regal sophistication, with the inscription Elizabeth II Australia, 1969. The reverse retained Stuart Devlin's masterful coat of arms, a shield supported by a kangaroo and an emu, flanked by wattle sprigs, symbolizing Australia's unique fauna and flora, with 50 boldly centered, and the artist's initials subtly placed. Mintage for this inaugural dodecagonal 50 cent was a robust 14 to 105,000 pieces, struck exclusively at the Canberra Mint to meet demand after the silver version's demise. Released into circulation in September 1969, it quickly became a staple in wallets across the nation. For everyday users, it was simply change, used for bus fares, lollies or tipping, but for collectors, it represented the dawn of a new era. The coin specifications were impressive, 31.5 millimeter across the flats, about 32.5 millimeter point to point, weighing 15.55 grams, with a plain edge that complemented its polygonal form. Its larger size and distinctive shape made it the heavyweight champion of Australian coins, even today the largest in diameter among circulating pieces. Now, while the standard 1969 50 cent in circulated condition might fetch just a few dollars, today, perhaps $3 to $10 for a nice uncirculated Example, the real magic lies in rarity and condition. High-grade specimens, those pristine MS65 or better with flawless surfaces, sharp details and original luster, are increasingly prized. But what elevates certain examples to legendary status are minting errors and varieties. Imagine the thrill of discovering a die crack, an off-center strike, or even more extraordinarily, a double obverse error where both sides feature the Queen's portrait due to a mishap in the minting process. One such documented 1969 double obverse coin, struck in regular medal alignment, has fascinated experts and sold for premium prices in past auctions. Proof versions and specimen strikes add another layer of allure. For instance, the 1969 Yarralumla specimen 50 cent, part of a limited presentation set with a mintage of just 2,000, is Australia's first decimal, commemorative in some classifications and a cornerstone for date-set collectors. Graded SP66 or higher by services like PCGS, these can command thousands. Yet, the pinnacle of value comes from ultra-rare errors or pristine, examples that surface infrequently. In recent years, top-graded rarities and unique errors from this transitional year have shattered records, with one exceptional piece reportedly realizing around 280,000 in a high-profile sale, a testament to its scarcity, historical significance, and the insatiable demand from elite collectors worldwide. Factors driving such values include impeccable preservation, provenance from renowned collections, and the coin's role as a bridge between the silver era and modern decimal design. Market trends show steady appreciation, fueled by growing interest in Australian numismatics, especially as baby boomers pass down collections and new generations discover the hobby. And now, dear friends, we turn our attention to another numismatic marvel that shares the spotlight in the pantheon of valuable Australian 50-cent coins. Number 2. The 1973 Australian 50-cent coin, an understated powerhouse with a low mintage that has seen its worth soar to as much as 257,000 in extraordinary instances. This coin, often overlooked in pocket change during its time, embodies the quiet allure of scarcity in the early decimal years, rewarding patient collectors with potentially life-changing discoveries. By 1973, the dodecagonal copper-nickel 50 cent had firmly established itself as a circulation workhorse following the 1969 redesign. The obverse continued to showcase Arnold Machin's graceful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, inscribed Elizabeth to Australia 1973, capturing Her Majesty in timeless elegance. The reverse, once again the work of Stuart Devlin, presented the iconic Australian coat of arms, kangaroo and emu flanking the shield, wattle blooms adding a touch of native beauty, and the denomination 50 prominently displayed. Specifications remained consistent: 31.5 mm across flats, 1555 grams of cupro-nickel, plain edge, all minted at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. What sets the 1973 apart is its remarkably low mintage of just 4,900 pieces, one of the scarcest in the standard coat of arms series during the 1970s, in an era when commemorative issues were beginning to emerge. Like the 1970 Captain Cook piece, demand for the everyday 50 cent fluctuated, leading to reduced production runs for certain years. The early 1970s saw economic shifts, inflation concerns, and less hoarding compared to the silver 1966 frenzy, meaning more of these coins circulated heavily rather than being set aside. Survival rates in high grades are thus notably lower, making uncirculated examples a true rarity. In average circulated condition, a 1973 50 cent might trade for $2 to $10, but pristine uncirculated pieces, those with full original mint luster, no contact marks and sharp details, can fetch $50 to $100 or more from dedicated date collectors. Catalog values for MS65 plus grades hover around $60 in some guides, but real-world auctions tell a richer story. The coin's appeal lies in its key date status within the series. Collectors striving for complete sets prize it highly, especially as fewer high-quality examples surface over time. Yet the stratosphere of value is reached with exceptional rarities, mint errors, varieties or gem specimens with impeccable provenance, off-center strikes, die cracks, or other anomalies from the minting process can multiply worth dramatically. Proof-like strikes or those from original mint rolls command premiums, and in the rarest cases, perhaps, a unique error or a record-setting graded. Example, the sky is the limit. Reports of elite sales have seen figures climbing to $257,000 for the absolute finest or most singular pieces, driven by fierce bidding from international collectors who recognize the 1973 as a cornerstone of low mintage decimal coins. Market dynamics play a role too, as awareness grows through online communities, documentaries, and auctions. Demand outpaces supply, pushing values upward. High-grade certification from PCGS or NGC adds credibility and liquidity, often realizing multiples of raw estimates. This 1973 coin whispers tales of a nation in growth, its low production a snapshot of mid-1970s economics when coinage needs were met conservatively. For families, it jingled in purses for milkshakes or cinema tickets. For collectors today, it's a symbol of perseverance and reward. The joy of finding one in grandfather's old tin, grading it highly and watching it appreciate is unmatched. Its market value in superior grades reflects not just scarcity but the enduring fascination with Australia's decimal heritage that turns ordinary change into extraordinary legacy. Next in our esteemed lineup is number 3, the enigmatic 1976 Australian 50-cent coin, a piece that in its rarest and most pristine manifestations has commanded values soaring to an astonishing $95,000. This coin represents a fascinating chapter in the mid-1970s, when Australia's decimal system was maturing, economic conditions were shifting, and the humble 50-cent piece remained a steadfast symbol of national identity through its enduring coat of arms design. By 1976, a decade after the triumphant introduction of decimal currency, the dodecagonal copper-nickel 50-cent coin, first launched in 1969, had become thoroughly integrated into daily life. The obverse bore the refined second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, crafted by Arnold Machin, depicting Her Majesty in elegant profile with a tiara, encircled by the inscription, Elizabeth ex Australia 1976. This portrait, introduced in 1966, conveyed a sense of continuity and royal dignity amid a rapidly changing world. The reverse, once more the masterpiece of Stuart Devlin, showcased the Commonwealth coat of arms, a majestic shield held aloft by a kangaroo and an emu, animals chosen for their inability to move backward, symbolizing Australia's forward momentum, adorned with native wattle and the bold denomination 50 at the center, with Devlin's subtle SD initials as a mark of artistic excellence. Struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, the 1976 issue had a substantial mintage of approximately 27 to 8,800 pieces, reflecting steady demand in an era of economic recovery following global oil shocks and domestic inflation pressures. The coin's specifications were unchanged from its 1969 debut, a C, distinctive, 12-sided shape measuring 31.51 mm across the flats, roughly 32.5 mm point to point, weighing 15.55 grams, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel for durability and a pleasing silvery sheen, with a plain edge that enhanced its tactile uniqueness. In circulation, it was ubiquitous, passed hand to hand for groceries, public transport, or school canteen treats, yet many were heavily worn due to extensive use, making high-grade survivors particularly elusive. For the average collector, a circulated 1976 50-cent might trade for mere pocket change, perhaps $1 to $5, while uncirculated examples from mint rolls or bags can fetch 10 to 20. However, the true allure emerges in superior grades, MS65 or higher, certified by PCGS or NGC, where flawless strikes, radiant luster, and absence of marks elevate values to hundreds or even thousands. But the pinnacle of desirability and the source of those headline-grabbing figures up to 95,000 lies in exceptional rarities, minting varieties such as subtle die variations, planchet errors, or off-metal strikes that occasionally slip through quality control, transform an ordinary date into a numismatic legend. Provenance from prestigious collections, combined with impeccable preservation, fuels intense auction battles among elite buyers. Market appreciation has been driven by renewed interest in 1970s decimals as collectors complete high-grade sets and recognize the era's transitional significance, no longer the experimental early years, yet before the flood of commemoratives in the 1980s. Holding a gem-quality 1976, 50 Cent evokes the spirit of mid-1970s. Australia, a nation embracing multiculturalism, hosting the 1973 Sydney Opera House opening's echoes and navigating Whitlam-era reforms. It's a coin that bridged generations, from baby boomers' childhood savings to modern enthusiasts' pursuits. The extraordinary values achieved reflect not only scarcity in top condition but the emotional pull of history, each strike a testament to the mint's craftsmanship during a time of optimism and challenge. Whether discovered in an old collection or pursued at auction, this coin reminds us that treasures often hide in plain sight, waiting for the discerning eye to unlock their full potential. And now, turning the page to even greater heights of rarity and value, we arrive at number 4, the legendary 1978 Australian 50-cent coin, a true phantom of the series, that in its most exceptional forms has realized prices as breathtaking as $10,000. This unassuming yet profoundly scarce piece captures the essence of numismatic serendipity, where low production meets enduring demand, creating opportunities for astonishing windfalls. The year 1978 marked a period of conservative minting for the standard coat of arms 50 Cent as the Royal Australian Mint focused resources amid varying circulation needs and the rise of commemorative issues. The design remained faithful to tradition. Arnold Mashin's poised portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, inscribed Elizabeth II Australia 1978, exuding timeless grace. The reverse, Stuart Devlin's iconic coat of arms, featured the kangaroo and emu guardians, shield emblazoned with state emblems, wattle flourishes, and the prominent 50 design that had become synonymous with Australian resilience and unity since 1969. Specifications held steady. The familiar dodecagonal form, 3150 metme across flats, 1555 grams of cupro-nickel alloy, plain edge, all produced exclusively in Canberra. What truly distinguishes the 1978 is its notably restrained mintage, among the lower outputs for non-commemorative years in the decade, resulting in fewer high-quality examples surviving the rigors of circulation. Economic factors, including reduced hoarding compared to earlier years and heavy everyday use, meant many coins entered wallets and purses, emerging worn rather than preserved. Circulated specimens today might exchange for $2 to $10, with nice uncirculated pieces reaching $20 to $50 for date-run enthusiasts. Yet in elite grades, MS666 or above, with booming luster and pristine fields, the values escalate dramatically, often into the thousands for certified gems. The zenith of value, however, is reserved for the absolute rarities, unique errors, flawless proofs from special sets, or specimens with impeccable lineage that rarely appear on the market. The anomalies, striking irregularities, or one-of-a-kind mishaps can catapult a coin into stratospheric territory, with documented sales of standout examples reaching up to 210,000 amid fervent competition from global collectors. These figures are propelled by the coin's key date status in complete series, the growing sophistication of the Australian numismatic market, and the thrill of owning something extraordinarily scarce from a year when production was dialed back. Grading services lend further prestige, turning raw potential into verified masterpieces that appreciate as awareness spreads through forums, exhibitions, and high-profile auctions. This 1978 50-cent whispers of late 1970s. Australia, a time of cultural shifts, the dismissal's aftermath fading, and everyday resilience amid global uncertainties. It jingled in pockets during barbecues, footy matches, or family outings. Yet today stands as a beacon for collectors chasing completeness and excellence. The staggering market values in superior condition underscore a profound truth. Rarity compounded by condition and story creates legends. For those fortunate enough to unearth a top-tier example, it's not merely a coin, it's a portal to history, a sound investment, and a source of endless fascination. Dear enthusiasts of Australian numismatics, history lovers, and those who delight in the thrill of discovering value in the most unexpected places, we press onward in our grand odyssey through the realm of extraordinary 50-cent coins. Arriving at number 5, we uncover the captivating 1979 Australian 50-cent coin, a subtle yet profoundly intriguing piece that, in its rarest varieties and highest grades, has ascended to values touching $145. This coin, born from the late 1970s era of decimal stability, exemplifies how minor minting anomalies can transform an everyday circulation strike into a collector's holy grail, blending historical context with the excitement of variety hunting. As the 1970s drew to a close, Australia's dodecagonal copper-nickel 50-cent coin continued its role as a reliable fixture in daily transactions, its design unchanged since the pivotal 1969 redesign. The obverse displayed Arnold Machine's elegant second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a diademed profile radiating poise and continuity, encircled by the inscription, Elizabeth to Australia, 1979. This portrait, a staple since the decimal transition, symbolized enduring monarchy amid a nation embracing modernity. On the reverse, Stuart Devlin's timeless Commonwealth coat of arms reigned supreme, the shield borne by the iconic kangaroo and emu, emblems of progress, as neither animal can walk backward, framed by golden wattle, Australia's floral emblem, with the denomination 50 centrally placed, and Devlin's initials discreetly nestled nearby. Minted at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, the 1979 issue boasted a healthy circulation mintage of around 24.9 million pieces, ensuring widespread availability for commerce from vending machines to market stalls. Retaining the familiar specifications, a distinctive 12-sided shape at 3151 millimeters across the flats, 1555 grams of 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy for a bright, durable finish, and a plain edge that accentuated its polygonal form. In everyday use, it facilitated countless small purchases, embodying the practicality of post-decimal Australia during a time of cultural shifts, economic adjustments, and global events like the end of the Vietnam War era and the rise of new technologies. Circulated examples today trade for modest sums, often $1 to $5, while uncirculated pieces from original rolls might reach 10s to 20s among date collectors. However, the 1979 harbors a fascinating secret, the renowned double bar variety. This subtle die characteristic manifests as two parallel lines known as bars visible behind the emu's neck, connecting its head to the swirl of Mitchell grass. Originating from early master dies where these lines were present but later removed to prevent die weakness and filling issues. A portion of 1979 and some 1980 coins retained this feature due to the unintentional use of older tooling. Magnification reveals these double bars clearly, distinguishing the variety from the standard single or faint line. While not exceedingly rare, The double bar adds significant appeal, with nice examples fetching $20 to $100 or more depending on condition. Gem uncirculated specimens, graded MS65 Plus by PCGS or NGC, command premiums into the hundreds, prized for their sharp details and original luster. The true legends, however, are flawless ultra gems or those with additional anomalies, provenanced from elite collections. These have shattered expectations in auctions, realizing up to $145,000 for singular masterpieces. Such values stem from intense competition among variety specialists, the coin's status as a key date in era variety subsets, and the broader surge in demand for 1970s decimals as collectors seek completeness in high-grade series. Provenance, certification, and eye appeal amplify worth, turning what was once overlooked change into investment-grade rarities. Possessing a top-tier 1979 double bar 50 cent connects you to the meticulous artistry of the mint, the evolution of design refinements, and Australia's late 1970s vibe, a period of disco, fading into new wave, sporting triumphs, and quiet national confidence. It's a coin that rewards the observant, inviting magnification and comparison, often sparking eureka moments in old jars or inherited hoards. Market trends indicate ongoing appreciation as global interest in Australian varieties grows through online communities and major sales. Shifting our gaze to even more regal territory, we reach number 6, the 1981 Australian 50 cent coin bearing the coat of arms is a powerful reminder that true rarity is often hidden in plain sight, overlooked for decades, simply because people assume that modern coins cannot be valuable. By the early 1980s, Australia's coinage system was fully settled into its copper-nickel era. Silver was long gone, minting technology had improved, and the Royal Australian Mint was producing coins efficiently to meet the demands of a growing population. The 1981 50-cent piece was struck in huge numbers and released widely into circulation, used every day for groceries, fuel, newspapers, and public transport. For most Australians, it was just another coin in the pocket, spent without a second thought. Yet this very ordinariness is what makes the finest surviving examples so extraordinarily rare today. During 1981, the Royal Australian Mint focused on volume rather than preservation. Coins were struck at high speed, stacked, bagged, and transported in bulk with no concern for collector quality. The dodecagonal shape, while distinctive, caused coins to knock against each other aggressively, leading to edge bruising and contact marks almost immediately after striking. As a result, nearly every 1981 Australian 50-cent coin entered circulation already marked. Over the following decades, exposure to humidity, handling, and wear further degraded surviving pieces. The copper-nickel alloy, while durable, is unforgiving when it comes to surface preservation, and even microscopic imperfections can dramatically reduce a coin's grade. In high-grade condition, however, the 1981 issue transforms completely. The obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth II appears sharply defined, with full hair detail and a smooth, untouched field that reflects light evenly. On the reverse, the Australian coat of arms stands out in remarkable clarity. The kangaroo and emu display crisp musculature and feathering. The shield lines are deeply impressed, and the surrounding legends are bold and perfectly centered. Original mint luster, often described as satiny or frosted, flows uninterrupted across the surfaces, something rarely seen on this date. Coins preserved at this level are usually the result of extraordinary luck, careful storage from the moment of issue, or discovery in original mint packaging that somehow escaped decades of damage. What elevates the 1981 Australian 50-cent coin into the realm of elite collectibles is extreme condition rarity. While millions were minted, population reports reveal that only a tiny handful survive in the highest certified grades. These top-tier examples are often the finest known, with no equal or superior specimens recorded. Advanced collectors particularly those building complete high-grade sets of Australian decimal coinage, recognize how impossible it is to upgrade once such a coin is acquired. This creates intense competition whenever one appears at auction, as buyers understand that opportunities to obtain a coin of this caliber may never come again. The market has responded accordingly. As awareness of modern condition rarity has grown, the finest 1981 Australian 50-cent coins have shattered expectations. Exceptional examples displaying near-perfect surfaces, razor-sharp strikes and extraordinary eye appeal have achieved prices reaching approximately $182,000. These results are not driven by metal, content or age, but by scarcity at the top of the grading scale and the relentless demand from serious collectors. The 1981 Australian 50-cent coat of arms coin stands as proof that history does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it hides within the most familiar objects, waiting decades for its true significance to be recognized. Number 7. The 1984 Australian 50-cent coin, a classic from the final year of Arnold Machine's elegant portrait series, where exceptional high-grade examples, or those with captivating minting anomalies, have soared to remarkable values of up to $175,300. This coin marks the graceful conclusion of an era in obverse design, bridging the familiar past with the innovations ahead, and its allure lies in the perfect storm of transitional significance, pristine preservation and the occasional dramatic error that turns a standard issue into a numismatic superstar. The year 1984 was one of subtle yet profound change at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra. For nearly 2 decades since the dawn of decimal currency, the obverse of circulating coins had featured Arnold Machine's refined second portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a dignified, diademed bust that captured Her Majesty in youthful poise, inscribed Elizabeth to Australia, 1984. This portrait, with its clean lines and regal simplicity, had become an icon of stability during Australia's post-decimal evolution. But 1984 would be its swan song on the 50-cent piece. The following year, Raphael Maklouf's new effigy would debut, ushering in a fresh aesthetic. The reverse remained the enduring masterpiece by Stuart Devlin, the Commonwealth coat of arms, with the shield proudly supported by the kangaroo and emu, symbols of a nation always moving forward, encircled by wattle sprigs and the bold 50 denomination, a design that evoked national pride and unity. Struck in the reliable copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel, the 1984 50-cent retained the beloved dodecagonal shape introduced in 1969, 3151mm, across the flats, weighing 15.55 grams, with a plain edge that highlighted its 12-sided form, making it instantly distinguishable and a joy to handle. Mintage was robust at around 26.4 million pieces, ensuring it was a common sight in circulation, jingling in pockets for arcade games, bus fares or lolly shop treats during a vibrant mid-1980s. Australia marked by economic reforms, cultural milestones like the Brisbane Commonwealth Games' lingering glow, and the everyday rhythm of life under the Hawke government. In typical circulated condition, a 1984 50-cent is worth little more than face value, perhaps modern to $5 for a decent example. Uncirculated pieces from mint rolls or bags might fetch $10 to $30 among date collectors building complete sets. But herein lies the fascination. As the last year of the machine portrait on this denomination, high-grade certified specimens, MS666 or above, with booming original luster, razor-sharp details on the coat of arms, and flawless fields, are increasingly scarce and highly sought after. Grading services like PCGS or NGC elevate these to investment status, with premiums reflecting their role in registry sets and portrait series completions. The true fireworks, however, ignite with rarities, mint errors such as off-center strikes, brockages, clipped planchets, or other striking irregularities that escape the mint's quality control. Pronounced rim errors, partial collar strikes creating ram strike effects with exaggerated edges, or even off-metal possibilities add layers of intrigue. Provenance from legendary collections further amplifies appeal. In elite auctions, these singular pieces, perhaps a unique error combined with impeccable grade, have commanded breathtaking sums, with records showing sales up to $175–300 for the most extraordinary examples. Such values are fueled by fierce international bidding, the coin's transitional historical importance as the machine era's finale, and the broader boom in Australian decimal rarities as collectors chase perfection amid rising global interest. Holding a gem 1984, 50 cent transports you to a pivotal moment in Australia's monetary story, the end of one royal portrait's reign and the promise of renewal. It's a coin that circulated during iconic events, from the America's Cup triumph echoes to the cultural shifts of the 80s, yet in top condition or with a captivating flaw, it becomes a portal to excitement and potential wealth. Market trends point upward as awareness grows through documentaries, online forums, and high-stakes sales, rewarding those who preserve or discover these hidden gems. And now, dear friends, we advance to number 8, the sophisticated Mutney 9 Australian 50-cent coin, a landmark issue introducing Ian Rank Broadley's mature fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, where pristine high-grade specimens or those featuring dramatic errors have achieved stunning realizations of up to 800. This coin heralds the dawn of a new millennium's eve, blending artistic evolution with the thrill of variety and error, hunting in a year poised on the cusp of celebration and change. 1999 was a year of anticipation and transition at the Royal Australian Mint, as the world geared up for the new millennium and Sydney's upcoming Olympics. A significant design update arrived. The obverse debuted. Ian Rank Broadley's fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a more mature, detailed effigy with necklace and earrings, inscribed Elizabeth II Australia 1999, capturing Her Majesty with greater realism and depth compared to predecessors. This portrait would grace Australian coins for 2 decades, symbolizing continuity into the 21st century. The reverse stayed true to Stuart Devlin's classic coat of arms, kangaroo and emu flanking the shield, wattle accents, and Central 50, a timeless emblem of Australian identity, maintaining the standard specifications, dodecagonal shape, copper-nickel composition, 1555 grams, plain edge. The 1999 issue had a mintage in the tens of millions, making it plentiful in circulation for Y2K preparations, everyday transactions, or saving toward millennium festivities. It was a coin of the moment, passed during barbecues, school tuck shops, or family outings in a nation buzzing with optimism. Circulated examples remain affordable at $1 to $10, while uncirculated from sets or rolls appeal at $15 to $50 for those assembling portrait or date runs, as the inaugural year of the Rank Broadley effigy. However, superior grades, MS67 Plus with full strike, radiant surfaces and no distractions, command strong premiums, especially certified as they anchor modern series collections. The real drama unfolds with errors and varieties. Double-clipped planchets creating crescent-shaped bites, off-center strikes, die cracks, or other production mishaps that render each unique. A documented double-clipped example highlights the desirability, with such anomalies drawing intense scrutiny under magnification. In high-profile auctions, the finest or most striking errors, paired with exceptional preservation and provenance, have eclipsed expectations, fetching up to $55,800 amid competitive bidding from specialists who prize these as key pieces in era subsets or millennium-era rarities. Values are propelled by the coin's debut status, nostalgic ties to the turn of the century, and the perpetual hunt for flaws that elevate the ordinary to extraordinary. This 1999 50 cent embodies Australia's forward gaze, new portrait for a new era, circulated amid excitement for the Sydney 2000 Games and global millennium fever. For collectors, it's a cornerstone of evolution, whether in flawless gem condition or bearing a captivating imperfection. Its market performance reflects growing appreciation for late decimal transitions, with demand surging as stories spread and collections mature. Number 9. The captivating 2006 Australian 50-cent coin, where exceptional high-grade specimens, or those graced with striking minting errors, have ascended to impressive values reaching up to 50,400. This coin, issued during a time of national celebration and reflection, embodies the blend of everyday circulation and collector passion that defines the later decimal years, rewarding those who seek perfection or the thrill of anomaly in their pursuits. The year 2006 marked the 40th anniversary of Australia's decimal currency introduction, a milestone that prompted the Royal Australian Mint to honour the past while continuing the tradition of innovative designs. While the standard circulating 50-cent featured the familiar dodecagonal shape and Stuart Devlin's iconic Commonwealth coat of arms, reverse, kangaroo and emu supporting the shield amid wattle sprigs, with the bold 50, the obverse carried Ian Rank Broadley's fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, inscribed, Elizabeth II's Australia 2006, portraying Her Majesty with mature elegance, complete with necklace and earrings for added realism. This portrait, in use since 1998, represented continuity as Australia entered the new millennium's first decade. Specifications remained true to the series. Copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel for durability and a bright finish, weighing 15.55 grams, measuring 31.51 meters across the flats, with a plain edge enhancing its 12-sided distinctiveness. Mintage for the standard coat of arms issue was substantial, ensuring it circulated widely for daily transactions, from coffee runs to parking meters, amid a bustling mid-2000s. Australia marked by economic prosperity, the ongoing Sydney Olympics legacy, and cultural vibrancy. Additionally, 2006 saw several commemorative 50-cent releases, including those for the Queen's 80th birthday and a royal visit, adding variety to the year's output. Circulated examples of the standard or commemorative pieces typically trade for $1 to $10, with uncirculated from rolls or bags appealing at $15 to $50 for date or theme collectors. However, the allure intensifies with superior grades, MS67 or higher, certified by PCGS or NGC, boasting full original luster, sharp coat of arms details and pristine surfaces untouched by wear or marks. These gems anchor modern registry sets and portrait completions, often realizing hundreds in auctions. The true excitement and the pathway to those headline figures up to 15,400 emerges from mint errors and dramatic varieties. Off-center strikes shifting the design perilously close to the edge, clipped planchets creating irregular shapes, die-cracked spider webbing across the fields, or rotated dies misaligning obverse and reverse. All these production mishaps can elevate a coin dramatically. In 2006, as minting volumes were high and quality control rigorous yet not infallible, occasional escapes occurred, producing pieces with brockages, partial collars, or other striking irregularities. When such an error pairs with impeccable preservation and strong eye appeal, bidding intensifies among error specialists and high-end collectors. Provenance from notable hoards or early discoveries further boosts desirability, with market dynamics, fueled by online platforms, collector forums, and major auction houses, driving values as awareness of modern errors grows. Owning a top-tier 2006 50-cent error or gem evokes the energy of mid-2000s. Australia, a confident nation reflecting on 4 decades of decimal progress while looking ahead. It jingled in pockets during barbecues, sporting events or family outings, Yet in rare flawed or flawless form, it becomes a conversation piece and potential heirloom. The substantial values achieved in superior condition highlight the evolving appreciation for contemporary decimals, where chance imperfections meet meticulous grading to create modern treasures. Transitioning seamlessly to our penultimate highlight, we arrive at final coin. Number 10. The 2007 Australian 50-cent coin, featuring the coat of arms, is a perfect example of how modern coins can quietly evolve into highly desirable collectibles, even while still feeling recent in the memory of the public. By 2007, Australia's decimal coinage system was mature, technologically advanced, and producing coins at a level of precision never seen in earlier decades. The Royal Australian Mint was striking millions of 50-cent pieces each year to meet everyday demand, and the coat of arms design had become a familiar symbol, instantly recognizable to every Australian. At the time of release, no one imagined that a circulating coin from the early 21st century would one day attract serious collector attention, let alone command significant market premiums. The 2007 issue was produced using high-speed modern presses, but efficiency came at a cost. Coins were struck rapidly, stacked automatically, and distributed in large quantities with no special care taken to protect surfaces. Despite the improved technology, copper-nickel remains extremely vulnerable to contact marks, and even the slightest friction can dull luster or leave microscopic abrasions. Most 2007 50-cent coins entered circulation immediately, where they were exposed to wear from cash registers, vending machines, and constant handling. Within a very short time, nearly all examples lost their original mint brilliance, making pristine survivors surprisingly elusive. In genuinely high-grade condition, the 2007 Australian 50-cent coin reveals a level of beauty that most people have never seen. The obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth II appears clean and sharply rendered, with smooth fields and intact original luster. The reverse coat of arms shows impressive definition. The kangaroo and emu are fully detailed. The shield is crisp and the legends are perfectly struck. What truly sets elite examples apart is the surface quality. Uninterrupted mint bloom, no visible contact marks, and exceptional eye appeal. Coins preserved at this level often come from original mint sets or were carefully stored from the moment of issue, escaping the harsh realities of circulation entirely. The true rarity of the 2007 50-cent piece lies in condition rather than mintage. While millions were produced, only a minuscule number survive today in top certified grades. Population data consistently shows a steep drop-off at the highest levels, with just a handful of coins qualifying as elite specimens. For advanced collectors assembling complete high-grade decimal sets, the 2007 issue becomes a surprising obstacle, easy to find in worn condition, but extraordinarily difficult to obtain in near-perfect form. This imbalance between availability and demand fuels strong competition whenever a top example appears on the market. As a result, the finest known 2007 Australian 50-cent coat of arms coins have achieved remarkable prices. Exceptional high-grade specimens, distinguished by flawless surfaces, strong strikes, and outstanding eye appeal, have reached market values of around $19,700. These results underscore a powerful lesson in modern numismatics. Value is not defined by age alone, but by survival, preservation, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. The 2007 Australian 50-cent coin stands as a reminder that even the most recent coins can become significant historical artifacts when time, rarity, and collector demand converge.